राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदा नंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदा नंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौरान्विताय 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 जय गौरान्विताय 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 जय गौरान्विताय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। रामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरापुरी धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। यमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र मैया की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. It's my great fortune that I have been able to render some service to you all. As I was told by Mataji, first of all, I'm grateful to Mataji and also our His Grace Pandurang Sharan Prabhu. I was told that some of the devotees in this forum have been in Russia and maybe studied or jobs, whatever. And some others have been invited locally or whatever. So there is a varied group of devotees from various backgrounds. So we are discussing today morning. We welcome you all for this forum of discussion on the Japa, that is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Two ways, rather many ways of chanting, but one is soft chanting, one is also chanting in the mind, and one is loud chanting. So loud chanting is kirtan, which we did sometime before the prayers, and then there is upamshu, that is soft chanting, that is in the mind, and also vachik, verbal, what we do, japa. Softly, holy name should be chanted, audible to oneself. Ideally, it should not be audible to others around us. If it is so loud that others are able to hear, then it gets converted into kirtan category. So when we take the diksha in ISKCON, let's say in Hindi, the disciple goes and he says, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, मैं रोज अपनी माला के ऊपर 16 माला जप करूंगा. He says that I will chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra on my beats. He doesn't say that 16 माला का मैं कीर्तन करूंगा. I will loudly chant holy name on my beats. So soft chanting, it should be audible to oneself. Also the devotees around us should not get disturbed. When we go to temple or some common forum where we are sitting with devotees, they should not be disturbed. So chanting should be done softly. Though best is loudest chanting, that is kirtan, but that is another forum. When we go out, we do street sankirtan, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would do every day in the morning. Udilo Aruna Puraba Bhage, Dvijamani Gaura Amani Jage. So he would take his devotees and he would have Harinam Sankirtan. But we are going to discuss about chanting which is audible. There is something called as chanting in the mind also, which is the purest. And this is done in a very advanced stage. Though in that advanced stage also, the sadhaka who has taken initiation, diksha from his spiritual master, continues to chant vachik, soft chanting, audible to himself. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because he has given that kind of promise to his spiritual master. He has vowed during initiation. So he has to do 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra within ISKCON. That is vachik, that is audible to himself. But in his advanced stage, he can also chant in the mind because his mind is very pure. When the mind is very pure, mind can very easily chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Srila Prabhupada would chant every day 64 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra during his Grahastha days. We can see that how it is proved. There is a book by Her Grace Mula Prakriti Mataji, our Srila Prabhupada, a friend to all. In that she mentions at least three god brothers who have verified, who have said that Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's sannyas name, was always chanting 1 lakh Harinam. 1 lakh comes to approximately 64 rounds. Because when they would visit Srila Prabhupada, who was in the Grihastha ashram then, sometimes they happened to visit him, they found that Prabhupada was chanting, not on beats necessarily. He was doing household chores. Let's say he's folding the chadar. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He's doing household activities. What as a Grihastha, Prabhu, he should be doing. So he was doing that, but simultaneously his mouth would be uttering the holy name. That would go on. And another proof of this, that is written in the book, another proof we all know, when Prabhupada went to the West, most of them were so new. Prabhupada was the one who introduced holy name to them all. And when they came to that level, kind of little higher level, they asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, so how many rounds we should chant daily? How many rounds Prabhupada told them to chant? Not 16. He told them to chant 64 rounds. If Prabhupada was not chanting 64 rounds, how would he recommend that? Like, I cannot tell that to all of you because I'm not chanting 64 rounds. I chant minimum 60 and some extra rounds. So Prabhupada told him to chant 64 rounds. And they said, Swamiji, that's too much. it would take around 7-8 hours of our day, more or less the whole day. So could you please give some concession? Prabhupada said, okay, 32. They said, no, 32 is also too much. They were very frank with Prabhupada. You know, Westerners are very frank. They don't hide anything. That is very good also, their nature. Whatever is inside, they just openly told. So, Swamiji, that also would take 3.5 hours or so. Could you give more concession? Prabhupada said 16 minimum, nothing less. And that became a standard in ISKCON. 16 minimum. That means not maximum. So minimum 16 is, there could be 17, 18, 19, 20. More the better. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Kirtaniya Sada Hari. Always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is highest, chanting always. But for that, four prerequisites are there, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells in the 3rd verse of Shikshashtakam. Trunadapi Shunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. One should be humbler than the blade of grass. This is very difficult because we are in the day and age, Kali Yuga, 21st post-modern era, we say. In this, so much arrogance, so much pride within the heart, we cannot make ourselves, we can't feel humble so easily. But in the association of devotees practicing Krishna consciousness, day after day, month after month, year after year, eventually these qualities will develop. So when we become humbler than blade of grass, not green grass growing from the ground, if we step on it and go forward, that which was like this flat, when you go forward, it becomes again straight. So this is not what he's addressing. He's not talking about that grass. He's saying trina, a blade of grass, that means which is away, which is dried up, which is lying on the ground already, not having connection with the ground. So that is always lying on the ground, and you step on it, then you march forward, then also it remains like that only. And we have to become humbler than this blade of grass also. So very high standard. One has to be free from false ego. So Trunadapi Shunichena Tarorapi Saishna. One has to be very tolerant. One of the first instructions of Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, after introducing the basics, the foundational principle that we are not body, we are spirit, soul, that he introduces, Dehinosmin Yata Dehe. You are not this body. Body keeps changing from boyhood to youth to old age, and then after death, another body. Next, very soon, what Krishna says, Matra Sparshas Kauntesh, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada, Agama Payano Anitya, Tam Satikshasva Bharat. You tolerate all this coming and going of summer, winter, season. This is all material, so it is all temporary. Everything material is temporary. But unfortunately, we feel no, it is all eternal. Just like COVID, we feel it is all going to be eternally there. It's not going to be eternally there. That's a confusion. That's a confused state of mind. This is material, so it will come and it will go. Soon it will go away also. So one should be very tolerant. So that is another thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expects. And then always giving respect to others. That is also very difficult. As much as false ego we carry, as much as we are not able to see the living entity's connection with the Supreme Lord, that much it is very difficult to really and always be appreciating him, be always respecting him. Again and again we feel like I should be respected. We make ourselves the center of the creation. This is a big problem. Now, I have heard one great sannyasi saying, Guru in ISKCON, saying that Krishna consciousness means very simple. What is Krishna consciousness? To take yourself out of center and to put Krishna over there. So we tend to keep ourselves in the center. So no, we should keep Krishna in the center. So we should give respect to others. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one of the basic steps to know the transcendental knowledge, 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 4.34, he says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Just try to learn this science by approaching a self-realized spiritual master. Serve him humbly, inquire from him. So 3 things he says there, pranipat, pariprashna and seva. Be submissive there, inquire and serve accordingly. So what is the outcome of this? Krishna says they will impart transcendental knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth, the absolute truth. So those self-realized souls can impart knowledge, and by which you can also see the truth because they have seen the truth. So what is the truth that you can see? That details in the next verse, 4.35. By which you can know that all living entities are part and parcel of me. They are mine. They are Krishna's children. So this understanding, if we have, then we will be able to respect one and all. But unfortunately, as we have separated ourselves from Krishna, we tend to separate all living entities also from Krishna. So we cannot see their eternal connection. Mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhutaha sanatana. They are my part and parcels only. Krishna is saying all the living entities. But we are not able to see that. We don't have that transcendental knowledge. Or even if we have heard it, we don't have a realization of that. So that's how we again tend to insult others, tend to disrespect them. It's very difficult to respect others. And don't expect any respect for oneself. Like where you can see the Acharya for chanting the holy name is Namacharya. That is Srila Haridas Thakur. He was beaten up in 22 marketplaces, but he did not feel any problem with that. Physically, also, he was protected by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but more because physical pain anyway, if somebody is beaten up like that, after how long it will last? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, then it would be gone. But the mental agony that one might undergo when he's publicly insulted like that could be so enormous, he just can't forget till the last point of his life, till death. But Haridas Thakur was oblivious, he was not concerned at all because he was not carrying any false ego. He thought this is Krishna's arrangement. Krishna wants me to be beaten up, that's all. I had committed some offenses to Vaishnavas, so as a result, I was punished like this. That's how he took it up. So he did not expect any respect. Just imagine if we get post and position within ISKCON, some small post position, like if we have some community of Vaishnavas, somebody's made cleanliness department in charge, or what do you call that, dustbin throwing department in charge. So if he's asked, Prabhu, you throw the dustbins every day? Dustbins are very important, costly. No, I don't throw the dustbins. The dustbin contents I have to throw, the garbage and all that. Oh, really? So who else is there to accompany you in this department? Oh, currently Prabhuji told that there is no one. So you only do this. Maybe tomorrow when we get somebody, we'll be accompanying you. So he feels so high of himself that I am the in charge of this department of dustbin throwing. So that false ego that one carries makes one think that everybody should respect me, but not expecting any respect for oneself. This is the prerequisite for being able to chant 24 hours a day. One who is like this, who is humbler than blade of grass, that means humility, which is also, humility is also called as the carrier of bhakti. Just like we have Ganeshji, Lord Ganesha. His Vahan, his carrier is a rat, mouse. He goes on mouse. Similarly, his father, Lord Shiva, he has his carrier, that is a bull whose name is Nandi. Then his mother, Durga Devi, Parvati, she has her carrier, that is lion. And his brother Kartikeya, he also has his carrier, that is peacock. So the entire family, they all have their respective vehicles. What is the vehicle meant for? Like just like I'm sitting now here, is this vehicle? No, this is Vyasasana. This is for sitting, for addressing devotees, etc. No, but when we sit in a vehicle, it is not like this. Maybe seat could be as opulent as this, but it is not seat that matters in a vehicle. What matters is transportation. You head towards your destination, wherever you want to go. So Vahan, the carrier, takes us to our destination. It may be closer, it may be farther, but it takes us to our destination. So similarly, what is required in bhakti to make progress? We are talking about carrier, Vahan, in bhakti, which will take us forward. That Vahan is called as humility. Humility is the carrier of Bhakti Devi. So when one is practicing bhakti, while being situated on this carrier of humility, then he makes really progress. Not that you need to be highly educated, you need to be very, very rich person, you need to be physically very beautiful, you need to be very, very intelligent, having done BTech, MTech, MBA, PhD. None of these things which are material are required. They could be used in the service of the Lord if one has any one of them, but otherwise they are not required. What is required is humility. I am just servant of all the Vaishnavas. They were the ones who introduced me to Krishna consciousness. Else, though I was materially quite high, quite opulent, quite well situated, I was heading towards hell only, or hellish life at least. I was not happy in my life. I was not knowing the goal of my life. I was just going in a stereotyped way, the way society goes, and I was confused internally. I did not have the guts to even agree or admit externally. But when Vaishnavas came in my life, How amazingly they did my open heart surgery without anesthesia once sometimes, they directly told, you cannot be happy in this world. And we said, no, I'm happy, I'm so well situated, I'm on such a big post and all that. And Vaishnava said, no post, no position, no situation in the world can make you happy, because this is dukkhalayam. This is world of miseries. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, and nobody can go against the words of Lord Krishna. So Vaishnavas exposed us, and they gave us this bhakti, so sublime, so divine, so highest thing in the creation. They gave us the holy name, Golokera Prema Dhana Hari Nama Sankirtana. This is the highest wealth in Golok Vrindavan, Prema Dhan, and that is brought to this world by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tomare loite ami hoinu avatara. Mahaprabhu saying, for your sake, I have taken birth, they have taken appearance in this world. I have awarded you this holy name. Please chant the holy name. So Vaishnavas gave us this holy name. So how much grateful we are to them, that matters a lot while chanting Hare Krishna mantra. You may say, Prabhuji, talk about chanting you talk, chant or speak something like Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam. That we do here many times, we keep hearing that. Certainly that is required for external chanting. But we are talking about something internal also. Internal state of consciousness is very, very important. Just like I may be taking medicines from a doctor, but if I don't have faith in him, or I feel, maybe for 2-3 days I'll take, and if some little recovery is there, then I'll just give up this medicine. So this kind of hodgepodge following a doctor is not what is proper ideally to get recovered. One has to have full faith in the doctor. Certainly the doctors nowadays also, there is a sometimes question mark about their integrity, but one should keep faith in some proper doctor and follow the prescriptions, etc., very nicely. So similarly, what is needed internally is all these sublime qualities like humility. Prabhupada says in one of the purports, I think 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 8 verse or somewhere, Prabhupada says, while a devotee chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna and his internal potency, that is Srimati Radharani, they are dancing on the tongue of the chanter. So when I chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna and Radharani, they are dancing on my tongue. What a sublime realization Prabhupada is sharing with all of us through that purport. That, can you imagine? Now we have here Radha and Vrindavan Chandra. They are dancing there. Though the photo is there, so we cannot really feel that they are dancing. But the pose sometimes, to some extent, reveals. Yes, it seems that both of them, Radharani is also not straight standing. She is little bent. So she is also dancing. And Krishna, Vrindavan Chandra, he's also dancing. When they were dancing, that photo was taken like this. But when I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then they are actually dancing on my tongue. Prabhupada is writing that. So many times devotees in ISKCON and many others who are devotees of Krishna, they wish and they actually go to Shri Vrindavan Dham. And there in Vrindavan Dham, there are several places called as Rasasthalis, the places where Krishna performed Rasa dance with gopis. There are several of them all over Vrindavan. You'll find above the ground soil level a bit raised platform, generally made of cement, generally of circular shape. And then on that there is some kind of bench structure also, sitting arrangement. That is for Radha and Krishna. And all that circular fashion is where Krishna performs Ras Leela in a circle with each and every gopi, expanding himself. As many gopis, those many Krishnas he expands into. So they are dancing there. Many of us go there and we can see that platform, but we are not so elevated that we could see Radha and Krishna dancing over there. When we hear from great souls, we can have some understanding of that. But daily we have this local rasa dance going on, local rasa sthali, our own tongue acts as that platform, rasa sthali, on which Radha and Krishna are dancing. Whenever we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What an amazing thing, for us. We can directly enter in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. In that also, the topmost pastime is of rasa dance. Krishna dancing with the gopis. No ordinary people are allowed there. Very special souls demigods do participate, Gandharvas, and they sing very melodiously. And then the Apsara, they dance very amazingly in the outer space. And here Radha and Krishna and Gopis, they are dancing. So we have this entrance in Ras Leela, Ras's dance, every day. We are chanting 16 rounds. Many of the devotees, some are chanting maybe 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10 rounds. But every day we have this opportunity to enter in Ras Leela. Also, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells his mother, Mother Sachi, that you, my dear mother, have been my mother always. When I came as Krishna, you were Mother Yashoda. When I was there as Lord Ram, you were there as Kausalya. When I came as Lord Kapila, you were there as Devahoti. Now you, Sachimata, you are my mother. And in the form of tongue, you have been always my mother in the form of myself, in the form of holy name. So tongue is called as the mother of the holy name, because mother gives birth to the child. One child, two child, like that. So our tongue gives birth to holy name. Our tongue produces, gives birth. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So our tongue becomes the mother of the holy name. What a great fortune. Just imagine you have in your house Mother Yashoda. How will you keep her? How will you respect her? How will you feed her? You will have the best of the preparations for her, best of the sitting arrangement, best of the sleeping arrangement. You take care of her like anything. If you have Kausalya Mata coming to your house, or so many mothers of the Lord, Devoti coming to your house. So our tongue is the mother of the holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is telling in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur narrates. So amazing. We have been blessed immensely by the Lord, especially Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has brought this holy name to this world. And also Srila Prabhupada. We can never forget Srila Prabhupada, who spread the holy name all across the globe. Just with one pastime of Srila Prabhupada, and I'll end here, which is also background or very important for chanting the holy name. Prabhupada once asked his disciples who were with him that why did I write my books? So when this question was asked, they were supposed to answer. So one of them said, Prabhupada, for distribution. You like book distribution, so you wrote this book for distribution. Prabhupada said no. And they were surprised. How no? Then some other disciples said, Prabhupada, for engaging your disciples. So many of your young disciples, foreigners, they are very hot-blooded, a lot of passion, they require a lot of engagement. So you have written this book so that they can keep distributing and all that. So they are engaged. Prabhupada said no. Then somebody else said, Prabhupada, to get money, because though we don't get too much profit out of every book, but let's say a book which is printed for 14 rupees is sold for 15 rupees. So 1 rupee is profit through that. And like that, you distribute lakhs and crores of book. Overall, there is some money generated. And ISKCON does get some fund, which anyway we use for prasad distribution. We give it freely only. We are not after money. But the point is that the disciples said for getting money. Prabhupada said no. So no matter what they said, Prabhupada did not agree on this. So everybody is wondering, what is the purpose of these books? Why Prabhupada has written them? Then Prabhupada himself had to clarify. What did he say? I have written these books to inspire all the people in the world to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And you can see that very clearly. So many places in Prabhupada books, there is Hare Krishna Mahamantra very clearly stated there, written there, as it is whole. Prabhupada could have made it short. One should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But he writes it. The whole Mahamantra is there. And if you read Prabhupada books, again and again and again, he will bring it back to the same point. No matter what the section talks about, whether it talks about Dhyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, whatever. Prabhupada says this Dhyan Yoga in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this is not feasible, possible in this day and age, Kali Yuga, when our minds are so disturbed. So easiest is Bhakti Yoga, and in that chanting the holy name, as introduced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so one should chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So my personal experience of having read Srila Prabhupada books, I do keep reading now also, that if as much as we read Prabhupada books, that much our morning chanting is better, is high class. Because reading Srila Prabhupada books is part of Shravanam, hearing. We are hearing directly from Srila Prabhupada, who spread holy name all across the globe. Just imagine hearing from a person who has spread the holy name all across the globe. Hearing from him, so amazing. So Prabhupada speaks to each and every one of us through his books. So every day we should read his books for at least 1 hour, which he expected out of his followers, that we should read 1 hour, ideally 2 hours, because 2 hours we are chanting. So when we have done hearing of 2 hours, then 2 hours of chanting the holy name could be, kind of some justice. So Prabhupada expects that also. Read as much as possible, but at least 1 hour. So if we could read Prabhupada books every day 1 hour, I can give you guarantee. My personal experience I'm sharing with you. Your chanting will improve like anything. Because you have heard from Prabhupada, you will know how not to get carried away by Maya's influence, which will come. Maya will come again and again and disturb us in our chanting through so many thoughts. Come on, Prabhu, my dear Mataji, you have to do this. As soon as chanting is over, chant quickly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We'll become very passionate, or we'll be very tired, and we'll be thinking, oh, like yesterday night I slept 4.5 hours only. So we may feel, oh, I have not slept properly. So now I have to cover it up during this chanting. When I'm anyway sitting, might as well I take rest also. This is foolishness. Today I had one of the best japas, though I slept less yesterday night, because Hari Guru Vaishnava's grace. So what is required is daily reading of Srila Prabhupada books also, to be able to make our chanting quite effective. I will end here because our time is very short, and see if anybody has any question. So you can unmute yourself and ask any question you have.
Shanmu Prabhu, if you can please unmute, you want to ask question. And others can raise their hand so that we can queue them up. Thank you.
Yeah, so Prabhuji, you mentioned that...
Could you make yourself visible too? I don't know how to do this.
I'm sorry. Yes, Prabhuji, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, at least I'm able to hear you, though not able to see. Now I'm able to see you. Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned that we should have the highest level of humility. We should be humbler than the dry grass. And to achieve that, you said one of the things you suggested is to read Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada's books. So what are other practical tips you can suggest to achieve that level of humility when we do
You
the
could
chanting?
read the character of our Sanatan Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had 4 of his followers. Through each one of them, he teaches a principle to all others, like us. So through Sanatan Goswami, through both Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, both were brothers. Very highly, they were born in Saraswat Brahmin family from Karnataka. They were residing in Bengal, and they were the Prime Minister and Finance Minister of Nawab Hussain Shah. A lot of credentials, materially also, and spiritually they are very high level devotees. So you can read both of them, about them and how they conducted themselves. Just like they were converted into Muslims by Nawab Hussain Shah forcibly. So their names were Sakar Malik and Dabir Khas. When they met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramkili, that's in Bihar area. So when Mahaprabhu met them, in the midnight they met, because publicly they cannot come. Otherwise, Nawab will be doubting and all that. So when they came, they were so humble, holding a bunch of grass in their mouth, in their teeth. They fell flat on the ground and said, "Oh Lord, we are so fallen. Niche jati, niche sangi, karo nija kaj." We are born in the low class family. Now, know well, they were not born in low class family. They were born in the highest family, one of the highest families of Saraswat Brahmin family of Karnataka. But they are not saying like that. They are saying Niche Jati. We are born in a very low class family. Niche Sangi. We have been associating with these Muslims, in their territory. We are working as the ministers, and they are all meat eaters, especially cow flesh eaters. Niche Jati, Niche Sangi. We have been taking their association. Actually, they were not taking association. Worldly duties they were doing as ministers, but they were not taking association, in the sense they were not following their ways of lifestyle. They were very purely leading their lives. In their private life, they were worshipping Krishna only. They had Radha Kund, Sham Kund, etc. Lot of details you could know about them. And then also they say, Karo Nija Kaj, Niche Kaj. We were doing low class activities, but they were not doing any low class activities. They were perfect followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna's teaching. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he sees them in this humble condition, he gives them initiation. And he says, Aji haite tomara nama rupa sanatan Dainye chad tomara dainye phate mora man. This is high class. This is one of my favorite verses. What he says, Aji hoite tomara naam Rupa Sanatan. When one is given initiation, he is given a spiritual name. So today onwards, Till now, you were Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik, having some Muslim name. Today onwards, I'm giving you initiation, and your names are Rupa Goswami, Rupa and Sanatan. Aji haite tomara naam Rupa Sanatan. And what is the first instruction after their Diksha? Generally, we will be told by Guru, become humble. But they are told exactly opposite. Please give up humility. Dainya chhad. Are dainya chhod do. So much humility. Tomara daine phate moraman. Because of your humility, extreme humility, height of humility, my heart is breaking. My heart is melting. Please don't be so humble. You know, give up. That doesn't mean that they should give up humility. Basically they are being glorified by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you can read about Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami also. About Sanatan Goswami, once he was at the sea beach, Bay of Bengal, in Puri, Jagannath Puri Dham, and Mahaprabhu was in Aitota, one another place in Puri Dham. So he sent a message for Sanatan, please come and meet me. So Sanatan Goswami came very quickly. And when he came, Mahaprabhu saw that his feet were having blisters. So then Mahaprabhu asked, oh Sanatan, which path you came by? He said, I came by sea beach. Oh, sea beach, the sand there is so hot in this summer season, May month, Vaishak month. It is so hot. It's unbearably hot. One just can't keep his foot for 1 second or so. How did you come from that whole sandy path? How did you come? He said, there was another path, Mahaprabhu said, that is Lion Gate, Simhadwaram Gate for coming. That is very cool, very nice. You could have come by that. So Sanatan Goswami says, no, I'm such a low class person that Simhadwar Gate is used by the worshippers of Lord Jagannath. They are called locally as Pandas. They use that. And if they touch by mistake my body, they will get contaminated. Their service to Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra will be delayed. They should take bath then if they touch me. So I did not want to disturb them in their service. So I thought might as well I could come by this sandy beach, and it doesn't matter even if it is hot. I'm so low class. How does it matter? And I did not really feel so. So you can see who will be so humble. We will never think of, in the wildest of my imaginations, I cannot think of going by that sandy, hot, sandy path. But Sanatan Goswami actually followed that path, and he had blisters on his feet, but he did not mind it. So read about Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, our acharyas, all acharyas. Prabhupada himself, one of the best personalities in the creation. He got so much success, and he just went with 40 rupees, which he never used, by the way, in West or in India anytime. He always depended on Krishna, and Krishna made amazing arrangements for him. He got eventually 40 crores, 400 crores. Now we have one temple in Mayapur coming up, TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium. So that itself is going to be more than 600 crore also. So Prabhupada, he always gave credit for all the success to his spiritual master, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, or to his disciples. He said, all of you assisted me in my mission of assisting my spiritual master. That's how all these things happened. Otherwise, personally, I don't have any qualification. So Prabhupada was so humble. We get little promotion here and there, in case you get promotion or little profit in your business. He tells so many people, you see, I got promoted, I got this profit. But Prabhupada did not take any credit. So reading about these acharyas who have been so humble, will make us humble. Another thing we could do is reflect on our past, just like I mentioned in my discourse only, that how we were suffering in this world. Though many of us come from educated background, or also very cultured families, we were well off financially also. Our circles were high circles, materially speaking. We were not with low class drunkards and smokers. Most of us come from such kind of background. But still, we were empty in our heart. We are feeling the emptiness, hollow. If we are as much honesty we carry, that much we will clearly see that we were not happy. We were just going on in a stereotype way. Like basically, the goal of life was not clear. Why am I living and all was not clear. We were not suicidal cases also, but in illusion, we were some kind of experiencing happiness, but actually we were never happy. That is the realization, because Krishna has said Dukhalam anyway. But devotees made us really happy. So if we just reflect on our past, who I was before I made devotees, what a confused state of mind, goalless fellow, aimless fellow. I was just wandering in this world, so to say, wasting my time. I personally, in my life in childhood, I used to also solve crossword puzzle, if you know that kind of tables are there, black and white. And they ask, it was good in one sense because vocabulary increases. So my Marathi, my Sanskrit words vocabulary became very good, better. But it was a waste of time in one sense. I was not going for vocabulary increasing, but basically it was waste of time. So much time we wasted watching movies, loitering here and there, going to hotels. So we can just see how degraded our life was. Though I am saying we were not maybe drinking, smoking, but still our life was not heading towards proper direction. So just reflecting on our past can also make us humble. We should never forget our past. Just because we have some post and position in ISKCON now, we are referred to as Prabhujis or Matajis in ISKCON. Devotees bow down to us. Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Just think, before you came to Krishna consciousness, how many people were bowing down to us? So much. Nobody was bowing down to us, isn't it? People wanted to, maybe they were angry with us, though they did not show it. But people were not so respectful. Now we get so much respect. Now in this is unofficial forum. But yesterday evening I was in Nigri temple. There they gave me garland of the deities. Garland. Do you get garland in your life around your neck? Maybe most of you are married. So in your marriage you must have got one garland. Maybe never again. Maybe second garland on the anniversary. That also is doubtful. But I get so many garlands in a day. And all of you will also get. In ISKCON, all of us will get so many garland. So this is all Prabhupada's mercy. It's not our credit. Otherwise, people will not even offer me chappal garland, because chappal garland also somebody has to sacrifice chappals. And somebody has to give time to stitch. It's so difficult. Flower garland is so easy, but chappal garland is not so easy. You have to penetrate. Takes a lot of trouble. So who will take that trouble to offer me chappal garland? We are not worth receiving chappal garland also. But now by Prabhupada's mercy, we are getting nice flower garlands worn by the deities. Like here you see these garlands of Radha Vrindavan, so beautiful. The next day of this photo was taken. Next day that garland was offered of Vrindavan Chandra of Radharani to the preachers, whosoever came, who were present that time. So we see how our life has been made sublime, but it was not sublime. This is another thing that could make us humble. There are many more things, but I think I will restrict my answer here only.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Shanmugh Prabhuji for asking this question. Just want to check if anyone else has any question for Prabhuji. Okay, I see Hari Krishna Prabhu raising his hand. So Prabhuji, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, and please also switch on your video, because Prabhuji is requesting you to please. Hari Krishna Prabhu, you can, you are unmuted. If you can please switch on your video as well.
Because I don't have microphone.
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Yeah. Prabhuji, I am. One second. Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we can see you now, and we can also hear you. Yeah.
Prabhuji, my question is like when the soul leaves the body, that means that is we are the soul, right? We are referring that we are the soul, not the body. Does this soul carry the knowledge, whatever we have acquired knowledge or whatever thing we have acquired in this with this body?
Yes, but not material knowledge. Material knowledge will end here only. If you have done engineering, all that knowledge will be of no use in your next life. But the spiritual knowledge will go with you. Not does not mean that next lifetime you are born as a child, you will tell, okay, so I will tell you all one nice shloka, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo Me Bhaktya Prasid. Not that way. But when you are introduced to devotees at whatever stage of your life in the next life, that time you will be able to pick it up so fast. It will be like out of the world experience for you as well as many others around. Like our temple president, His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, was interacting with his very dear friend, His Grace Gaurang Prabhu from Mumbai, Radha Gopinath Temple. So Gaurang Prabhu, Radhesham Prabhu asked him a question that, my dear Gaurang Prabhu, how it is, you know so many shlokas in Sanskrit, hundreds and thousands of shlokas you know by heart. How did you learn? Could you please share some tips how to memorize verses? Radhesham Prabhu wanted some tips for himself. Gaurang Prabhu said, Radhesham Prabhu, I see that some of the verses may take 5-10 minutes to memorize, but some of the verses, just 1 minute or sometimes even less than 1 minute. And I'm convinced this is not from this life. This is from previous life. Otherwise, it is impossible to pick up with such a high speed, less than a minute, any verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Verses are so difficult. Sometimes pronunciation in itself is so difficult. What to speak of being able to memorize and quote it by memory, very, very difficult. But he said, this is from previous life. That is my understanding. And he does appreciate that by Lord's grace or whatever it is. So spiritual knowledge will go with you. We can read in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that Gajendra Moksha story. In that story, one of the chapters talks about how Gajendra in his previous life was King Indradyumna. He was a very great devotee of Lord Krishna. And towards the end of his life, he went to forest and he was meditating. But unfortunately, when Agastya Muni came, he was deep in meditation, could not welcome Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni became very angry. What nonsense! You are not receiving a guest. You are behaving like a dumb animal. May you become a dumb animal like an elephant. But because he was devotee and had done a lot of pious activities also, so he was born as an elephant, but as the king of the forest and in the heavenly planets also. And then when he was caught by a crocodile in the lake while bathing, you know the story. So that time he was wondering, he asked the help of his wives, asked the help of his children. Nobody was able to help. He asked the help of all the demigods who had assembled in the outer space. Then he said, oh, Supreme Lord, please protect me. Whosoever is the topmost, please protect me. And he offered very wonderful prayers. Prabhupada in the purport talks about how this Narsimha prayers, every day we have Narsimha Arti, Namaste Narsimhaya Prallada Lada Daine, Autavakara Kamalavare, or Brahma Samhita verses, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. These verses will go along with us in our next life also. Certainly we should prepare ourselves so well that we don't have to take next birth at all. But in case we do happen to, then these things all will go with us. Nehabhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Little endeavor on this path will save one from the greatest danger. In this world of this life, we cannot carry 1 rupee also to our next life. Not possible. But whole of your spiritual knowledge, your all the spiritual credits, they all will be carried forward by the divine energy of the Lord. And that will be always with you. That cannot perish because it is eternal. As we discussed in the course of our discussion, everything material is temporary, whereas everything spiritual is eternal. So whatever, just like I'm giving you, serving you all through this service, this is eternal. This is recorded in my account and recorded in your account also, that these people have heard sincerely about holy name of the Lord for half an hour, 1 hour, and this person also spoke the glories of the Lord. This is eternally there with all of us. Nobody can erase it. That's not possible. Okay.
Probably one more thing is, our mind qualities also carry forward along with the soul?
Mind, what happens? Mind is subjected to change. It is material, though subtle. So mind keeps changing as per the Sangha, as per the association, mind keeps changing. Just like we can see, all of us were very mad for having a cycle in our childhood. Now what? Are we interested in touching the cycle? We might consider it an insult, if I touch a cycle, or what to speak if I am driving cycle. People will say, what happened? You don't have enough money to have a 2-wheeler or 4-wheeler. See how the mind was so mad for cycle in the childhood. Now is no consideration, does not want to touch a cycle. Why? Because we have grown. Now we are associating with our youthful friends or whatever, middle-aged friends. So in that circle, nobody talks about cycle. They talk about 2-wheeler or maybe 4-wheeler, or that too, in that also higher grade of 4-wheeler. So mind keeps changing at every moment in this life also. So at the time of death, whatever mindset is there, that will be carried forward. But again, in the next life, whatever association you take, accordingly, it will be subjected to change continuously. Okay. Any other question?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank Hare Krishna Prabhu for asking this question. Thank you. So, just want to check if anyone else has any question. Okay. So, Prabhuji, I don't see anyone raising hand or asking any questions. So, we'd like to end the session here. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your time, for your valuable words. These words are really going to help us for lifelong, and they will remain treasure for us. Thank you very much for your time, Prabhuji. And we look forward if you can join us again, maybe after some time. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Naam Sankirtan ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai.
Yeah.
Samoed Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Shakar Paas and Shakar Tananga.